Stand by to launch FanStream Sports.
3, 2, 1.
Let's start.
Hello, sports fans. Welcome to FanStream Sports. Nothing but pure sports. This is the JP Show.
JP, it is so good to hear you back on the air.
Stand by. Now, here's JP.
All right, welcome into a Tuesday edition of the JP Peterson Show. Man, I'm so excited about today's show because Tim Ham he's with us. He's alive. He's here.
Alive.
IndyCar Tim, what's up?
How are we other than Mavs fans here in Dallas? Everybody's great.
The home of the runner-up Dallas Mavs.
Always the bridesmaids, never the brides. And I'm okay with that.
Did they even deserve to be in the finals? My God.
Well, look, here's the deal. We'll get this out of the way right now because we don't talk a lot of Dallas sports on the JP Peterson Show.
No.
Here's the situation with Dallas basketball right now. Luka's not that great.
He's fat.
I'm throwing this out there. Luka,
I hate to fat shame the man, but
he's always out of shape. He's been out of shape his entire career. That's a given. But as awesome as Luka is on offense and as incredible as the numbers are that he puts up, he is horrible on defense. And he is a huge defensive liability.
It's just in.
Yeah, breaking news for everybody that doesn't watch the NBA like me normally.
Yeah.
Look, and I love Luka. He's a great dude. He's a crybaby on the court, which I cannot stand. Reminds me of Bruce Bowen and
hate that.
Duncan.
Hate it
more than anything. It's hard to root for him. Even as a Dallas fan, it's hard to cheer for Luka Doncic. And I get a lot of crap on my other shows for saying that, and rightfully so. But
no, I agree with you wholeheartedly.
Not that great.
His game is not exciting. And not that it doesn't, not that Jokic's game to me is more exciting. He plays with more energy.
Right.
He's fit. He's just, and I think Luka could be the same type of player, but he doesn't want it. No. I mean, there's such a fine line between being even a great player and a champion. And he just doesn't have it. He doesn't have it. He doesn't want it. You don't see the desire as a leader of a team. There was no fight in that team at all last night. There was zero fight. Kyrie had capitulated. It was bad basketball for an NBA final, a championship final to be that bad and unwatchable. Yeah. It's bad for the sport.
And most of the games were in the series, right? I mean, even the game the game 4, the game the Mavs won by 38 points. That wasn't exciting.
No, none of the games were exciting. I don't think not a single game was dramatic, was it?
Not coming down to the end. There was no drama in the last 5 minutes of any fourth quarter.
Worst final series I can ever remember. Worst final series. It felt like I was watching like midweek, regular season basketball. Right. And not only just the teams and the games. And I don't want to I want to talk a little bit about Boston a little bit later on, but it just the announce crew. It never felt big.
No,
I mean, and that's not about Doris Burke, but JJ Redick and Doris Burke. I mean,
that's a terrible combination.
What are we doing here?
I love Doris Burke. I think she's great.
She's great.
Not a fan of JJ Redick so much. Yeah. I like him in a studio setting. Not sure I like him courtside though.
No. It added no juice to the game. No. When Mark Jackson and Van Gundy are doing the game and they're arguing back and forth and guys that have, I hate to say it, but been in the fire there in the finals, that been there and done that. And these guys can feel it, I don't know. It just did. It never felt big, and Steve, I turned it on like last night for a little bit in the background while I'm working, and then Stephen A. Smith, which I'll give him credit. He had more energy than the entire night at halftime, just yelling at the Dallas Mavs to give us a freaking show. Yeah. Like show up. But here's the thing, Tim. This is kind of, for me, a microcosm where professional sports is right now.
Yeah.
I don't think these guys give a rip about, a majority of them. I don't think they give a rip half the time. They make so much money. They can do whatever they want, whenever they want. All of them have been deified since they were about 11 or 12 years old. And in the covering in professional sports in general, you just see so much of this. What what really brought me to sports was the desire, the outstanding performances, the leave it all on the court. And you'll see that from time to time. There's still great moments, but for the majority of it, it's a lot of Luka. It's a lot of Luka. And I think Boston does deserve some credit here. I think they are a wonderfully talented team. I think they played very selfless basketball. They've got that team is freaking loaded. When they added Drew Holiday and Porzingis, to two legitimate superstars in Brown and Tatum, I mean, that team is look at the numbers that they put up this season. They were second defensively overall. Their offense was, whenever they wanted to turn it on, they're multifaceted. They're so hard to guard. And I do believe they genuinely like each other as much as, people want to try to split Jaylen Brown and Tatum. They genuinely like each other. And I think, and Mazzulla's a good young coach. I mean, he's really got those guys dialed in. And I like his character. I like what he's all about. I hate to say it, but I kind of like this iteration of the Celtics as people, and I want to tip the cap to them. I think we tend to really look at the loser. We focus on Rory McIlroy choking and not enough on DeChambeau, with one of the biggest clutch performances in the history of golf. I mean, are you freaking kidding me? So I do want to give Boston their flowers. Yeah. But still, that was freaking boring. That was awful. It was awful to watch the whole series.
Well, and I've been a critic of Jason Kidd as a coach for a long time. He's my favorite Mavericks, my second favorite Mavericks player of all time, probably right behind Jimmy Jackson, which came from that same era. But as a coach, I've never been impressed with him as a coach. I did not like the hire when they hired him. I just didn't think it was a good fit. You went from Rick Carlisle, from being the dictator, it's my way or the highway. Listen to me or leave. Walk out the door if you don't like what I'm saying, to Jason Kidd, who wants to be everybody's best friend. Yeah. And that's not always the best thing for you. You need something in between. In between. And, I know the Mavericks, I predicted before the season started, they'd miss the playoffs, and they would have, if not for a stupid 16-2 run right at the end of the season to get into the 5th seed. And then of course they get hot through the playoffs, which is great. But when you get it into the finals and you face a superior team like the Celtics, you get out-coached, man. He was just flat out-coached. He was out-coached in some of the other series in the West, too, but they won. But Jason Kidd, I'm just not high on Jason Kidd. I'm not very high on Luka right now. I wasn't a big fan of Kyrie Irving until this year.
He had a great year.
He had a great year. He didn't have a great finals, but, man, he had a great year, and he had a great playoffs until they met Boston.
And he said he loved it, had fun. It was a spiritual awakening for him. So good,
And you know what? He showed me a little something by going and shaking every one of his former Boston Celtics teammates' hands and congratulating them after the game. I thought that was huge of him.
And Matt, this is what we do. We give props to something that should be done.
Yeah, right.
Props for doing the right thing. That's what's expected and should be done. But damn, he did it. Like, that's where we are. Like, all right. Well, all right. That's enough NBA talk.
It's like giving people credit, at work for doing your job.
Right.
Hey, you did your job great. Well, that's what you're supposed to do. I don't have to give you props because you had a good day delivering your auto parts, because that's what you're supposed to do.
or on TV, when some guys at the Super Bowl been living on $2,000 per diem for 3 days at ESPN and going to parties and like, thank you for your great reporting this week. You did it. Thank you so much. You did a great job.
Oh, it's ridiculous, man.
Yeah. Okay. Great. Thanks. Yeah. Big sacrifice. Or even worse, politicians. Thank you for your 35 years of service in Congress, raping and pillaging the American people.
We should start giving out awards for that.
Let's name an office building after you, since you defrauded the government of gazillion dollars during your 35-year tenure in Washington. Now that you're 105 years old, let's name multiple buildings and playgrounds after your corrupt ass.
Talking to you, Strom Thurmond. Racist.
What? That's not a fallen police officer or soldier. Let's give your noble service. You've served the public. For what? What did you do? You sat in Congress. You worked 6 days. You turned $180,000 salary into $75 million. Like you should get a freaking stock exchange named after you, not a public school for
Or a
God's
prison.
sakes.
How about a prison?
Or a prison.
Do you ever watch Parks and Rec, the sitcom Parks and Rec?
Oh,
it's one of my favorites of all time.
You know, all time.
It is. It's great. And so she's Leslie Knope's on the city council, and they've got the oldest city council member that's on there. I can't remember his name. Some old dude, Milton. And she introduces him once. She goes, "Milton's been in office since the 40s. He was a member of the Dixiecrat Party. They tried to reintegrate baseball." That's what I think of when I think of some of these guys in Congress.
And they're fucking leading our country. They can't even walk. They can't even see. Oh, yeah, he's so running the country. Oh, okay.
Oh,
we're
so
in good
great.
shape. Black Swan event coming.
Can't find his way off of a stage to say
we got life. A great and people trying to spin that. Oh,
how do you spin that positively?
Dude, like when you say it come out of your on TV and you're like, oh, you're like, do you? We know you don't believe that. Like, who are you trying to fool?
You're a bad liar. They're all bad liars.
Like, I hate to say it, but my little stepkid here, he does it all the time. It's like he'll stomp up the stairs or like do something right in front of your face, and I'm like, you just stomped up the stairs. No, I didn't. No,
kids are the worst.
I just watched you. No,
I just saw it.
We'll talk back to your mom. I didn't. I just watched it for 10 minutes. What are you talking about? No, I didn't. Okay. Anyway, well, we got off track. All right. Great show today. We got Michael Kelly coming on at 11:30, USF athletic director, who has just hit home run after home run, grand slam after grand slam in his recent hires. Recently hired the new baseball coach, so that pun works. And we will chat with him at 11:30. We'll talk about all the NIL stuff coming up, realignment, USF squarely in the target of the ACC, no question about that. A lot of scuttlebutt out there about that, so we'll ask him about that. It has been a record-setting year for USF athletics. So what do they do to keep the momentum going? The stadium. So much to go over with Michael Kelly. Really glad he's going to join us at 11:30. Also, an old colleague of mine, Mike Bell from 92.9 The Game in Atlanta. He'll join us at 10:30. He has been a very vocal critic of the way the Falcons have handled their quarterback position in this offseason. I agree with him as far as the selection of Michael Penix, bringing in Kirk Cousins. There are a lot of options that this team could have gone, the Falcons, but they went the way they did. So we'll talk to him and how the reaction in Atlanta has been. And can they challenge the Buccaneers for the NFC South title? So, and we'll also talk to him about, he's a big Braves fan, goes to a lot of the Braves games, and we'll talk to him about the Braves versus the Rays. Like, what if the Braves were once a very lower spending team when they were at Turner Field. They were in the low 100s. This year, they're spending $260 million on payroll. What has been the difference? Well, building a stadium where their fans are has been the difference, and having an ownership that is willing to put the money in. So we'll talk to him about what the Braves did right.
Yeah. Just read a really funny comment, JP.
What's that?
From Rick. JP, and you wonder why your Twitter was suspended.
I haven't posted one political thing ever. And did I say anything that wasn't true?
Oh, it doesn't matter if it's true.
All right. Did I say
know this?
I thought there was free speech on Twitter now. And I'm not
supposed to be,
so
right?
well behaved. I was told I don't know to tweet anything about Stu anymore. I've been so well behaved.
What are we doing, Elon? Come on, Elon.
Come on, Elon. What are we doing here?
Free JP. Hashtag free JP.
And they don't even tell you what you did or show you what are you talking about? In December of 2021, you put what?
Yeah.
What?
3 years ago.
What are you talking about? So anyway,
idiots. We need to make our own social media platform.
Yeah, we do. All right. Idiots. We'll call it I.
Yeah. I.com.
I.com. Well, hey, the Seminoles finally got a big win. Huge win.
They did.
Unfortunately, I'm talking about the tribe and not the school.
Yep.
the Seminoles Gaming won. Did not win, but the Supreme Court refused to hear a challenge to their monopoly in gaming in the state of Florida. And so now everything goes forward with the Hard Rock app, which was set free a few months ago. Love that. And now they can do all types of different gaming stuff. They could build a baseball stadium and put a sports book in it.
God, how great would that be?
Oh, that would be awesome. That would be awesome. Don't do it. Don't make the mistake. But this frees them up to do a lot. Now, people I know are going bananas about this, and there's a lot to be unpacked about it. And I have some concerns and some excitement about it. I mean, there's obviously going to be more gaming. They can do online gaming now. So whatever we can, I'm guessing that's in stadium betting we could do on our apps with any of the stadiums. I'm guessing, I don't know if they could actually put sports books in the current stadiums. I don't know if that's going to be allowed because I think it has to be on tribal land. The servers have to be, but at least the servers have to. So I'm not exactly clear if that can be done. I'm going to try to do some research and find out about that today. I'm hoping to get someone on from the Seminole tribe tomorrow to maybe answer some of these questions. But it does, it is a huge financial windfall, we believe, for the Seminole tribe. But people don't forget that $500 million, they have to pay the state $500 million a year. I mean, that's a win for the state. Now, is that going to make my property taxes go down? Doubtful. Is that going to make any of the state taxes? We don't have a state income tax, but the state taxes us in a lot of different ways, and tolls being one of them. My God, they don't build a road anymore that's not tolled, which right. I don't get. Like, aren't we paying for the building of the roads and then we're paying again? Whatever.
Got that here in North Dallas too.
Yeah, it's like every time we build a new road, it's like, oh wow, here's another.
Well, and the original purpose of the toll road was to pay for the road, and then they pulled the toll booths out. That doesn't. I remember that the last time that happened here in Dallas was old I-30, the old Dallas-Fort Worth Turnpike between Dallas and Fort Worth. In 1979, the road was paid for, and they took all the toll booths out. It's just a freeway now. Yeah, but they don't do that anymore because they're all privately owned. All these toll roads are privately owned, and but
the government is paying for the building of the roads.
Yeah,
well, at least a large portion of it.
It's a sweet deal, isn't it?
Overpaying, I might add. Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, so what does this mean for us as gamers? Well, I think we're going to get more options, obviously. Now, there is a downside to this, and we talk about this all the time. Monopolies are not good for the consumer. Monopolies in general are not good for the consumer. So in other states where you have free competition and you can odds shop, right? As you would shop in different books in Vegas, every book has different odds. Right. So you won't be able to shop around and get better odds. I mean, if they want to take a 20% VIG, I guess they could. So in every monopoly situation, there is some type of board that oversees it, like for electric companies and public service companies. We have a public service board that oversees, if they want a rate increase, they have to go before the board and get and see if, and get it voted on if it's okay. And of course, they just put money into the back pocket of the people that are voting on it. Shocking development, in my opinion, allegedly. And then, so there is supposed to be will there be regulation? Will the Seminole tribe be compelled to offer similar odds that DraftKings, Fanatics, and some of these other MGM are offering? I would hope so. If you're going to give a monopoly, there has to be some regulation. So while, everybody wants to jump up and down, let's, slow the roll a little bit here. Now, you go on the Hard Rock app, from what I can tell, their odds are very competitive now. But now that they have, quote, competition.
Right.
Yeah. And then, by the way, there are offshore sports books that you can use, and people do that. Yeah. There's always
Everybody
been offshore.
Does.
And I may or may not have one. There are so there's a lots of them. So you can still do shopping. Is it, quote, legal? No. Does it work? Yes. So there still is some competition, but that's not legal competition. Right. So there's a lot still up in the air. I love the idea that the fact that, we're going to have more options for gaming. And, is there, I know, and we've reported to you before that the Seminoles were at one time interested in working with the Rays and putting a baseball stadium across I-4 at the fairgrounds and having a bridge over that, making it a big resort. I mean, this is something that was on the table, has been thought about, been talked about. There's been work done on it, feasibility studies, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. There is obviously an option here where the state could, that is state-owned land. So they could trade out that land and make it part of the reservation, and they could grow that whole thing into something that is flipping unbelievable, to be quite honest. And when you look at its geographic location between the 17th largest market in Orlando and the 11th largest market in Tampa, you're talking about within an hour's drive of the state fairgrounds, 8 million people, 8 to 10 million people. And oh, by the way, another 50 million that visit every year in terms of tourism. Actually, that's just Orlando. So if you combine the Tampa and Orlando visitors, you're probably up to 80 million, I would say. So if I'm the Seminole tribe and I'm saying to myself, this looks very interesting. And what would you spend to hub it with a professional sports team that's going to be in business 81 days a year, and also build a facility on there that is better than our current amphitheater?
Amphitheater.
God, it's bad. It's bad.
It is pretty bad.
Have you been to the Mid-Florida Amp?
No,
Carnival?
I've seen it. No, I've seen it though.
Yeah, folks, we can do a lot better than that. We can do a lot better than that. Seen some great concerts there. But yeah, we could do a lot better than. I mean, and you start to just imagine if you will, an actual public-private partnership that, and I would suggest that the Seminoles would make a very large investment, and that's just, that's the cash cow that you need to make a deal like that work. And can you imagine what your payroll might look like if you have a Rays world, a Major League Baseball team hubbed at that particular juncture with all the tourism and the gambling? I mean, are you kidding me?
That'd be pretty special.
It wouldn't be under $100 million. I can tell you that. And because you would be making absolute investments if you're bringing in star players as part of it, and now does that Major League Baseball want to get involved with gambling in that way?
Right.
I don't know. Like this, look at the NFL. They never wanted to, and now they're in bed with every, FanDuel, Fanatics thing you could possibly look at. So I think it's just inevitable. And, and this just in, Shohei Ohtani didn't bet on anything.
That is so laughable. And he's just going to get off scot-free. I don't even want to get into that.
He already did. Yeah. That interpreter stole all that money.
All by himself.
Shohei had no idea. They spend 24/7 together, those two. They're joking around, loving on each other all the time, bro. And he even goes to ESPN and tells them the whole story. And then they're like, the attorney's like, oh, we need to retract that hour-and-a-half interview that was done.
Can't say any of that.
Yeah. Yeah. And why did ESPN agree to that journalistically?
God.
Oh, they're the major rights holder of baseball. Oh. Shocking.
They have no journalistic integrity at ESPN. It doesn't even exist anymore.
I'm not exactly sure you get kicked off Twitter for using those words in the same sentence.
Journalistic integrity.
ESPN. What are you doing? What are you doing? So anyway, it's an interesting development, obviously, for us. And I don't know. Let's see where it goes.
It's exciting for the state of Florida. At least it should be for you guys,
Yeah.
And
I think, sometimes be careful what you wish for, but I think in this sense, it's a good deal for Florida. I think it's a good deal for the state. I think it's a good deal for it can be a good deal for consumers. It could be an unbelievable deal for the Rays or baseball fans in Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
If they could buy the franchise and build that whole thing, I think that would be and like does anyone on anywhere want to argue that point? That what would be better for the Rays franchise, for Major League Baseball to get force some type of sale and get local Hard Rock Seminole Indian ownership of the team, right?
Yeah.
Or a local group who will partner with the Seminole if they don't want to be directly connected for quote gambling reasons. Another ownership group to build it in that central area with all that money that would be available and the gambling, revenue that could help build that entire area and make a destination spot. I mean, as opposed to what they're doing now. Come on. Who could argue that? Better for baseball, better for the fans, better for the franchise, better for the people of this area and Orlando. I mean, it's more revenue for the league, everything. It's a home run in every, you put up pros and cons against the St. Pete deal. It's not even close.
Right.
But of course, why would we do it the right way? Why would we do it the right way? Why?
Why set a new precedent?
Let's do what Miami did. Why learn from history? This looks good. Build stadium. Okay. It's not my money. As Rick likes to say, JP, stop making sense. With all this responsible fiscal talk, you will never become a senator.
No, but that's how you get elected, is you say all that stuff, and then you forget about it when you're elected.
Yeah. All right. Lots of other stuff I wanted to get to. We got Oilers and Panthers tonight. God, can we please get a competitive game? Some drama in that one. We had a little bit of drama at the end of game 3, I guess. But other than that, that's been a snooze fest as well.
8-1 in game 4.
Yes.
I mean, as an Edmonton fan, that would excited me. I've been watching more of the Stanley Cup Finals than I did of the NBA Finals. We had a Dallas team in the NBA.
There's been no drama in that either.
No, I know.
It's awful.
I just like watching hockey more than I like watching basketball.
Yeah. Jack Caglianone from Plant High School and the University of Florida ties their home run record of Matt Laporta yesterday in a big home run to win that game at the College World Series. So they stay alive. And they will play tomorrow. FSU plays today against UNC. The winner will get Tennessee again, which FSU already beat once, but was not allowed to win the game because of another terrible call. We don't need to relive that. But so FSU will be playing today at 2:00. We'll be watching that. I want to get into that. The Rays start a series, and we have some very interesting numbers from the WNBA I want to get into in a little bit as well. So lots to do on the show today. We'll be talking some Bucks as well. As I mentioned, Mike Bell from 92.9 The Game in Atlanta will be joining us here in our next segment to talk Falcons and Braves vis-a-vis Buccaneers and Rays. So we are brought to you by the Jeeves Law Group, JEEVES lawgroup.com. Scott Jeeves, our good buddy, will represent you vigorously and intensely. So if you've been in an accident and you need a pit bull of an attorney, go with the local folks, the Jeeves Law Group. They know the local landscape, and they are tough, and they are trusted, and they get results. Jeeves Law Group, JEEVES lawgroup.com. And, of course, presented by Hydrate Heroes. Got my Hydrate Heroes right here. Got to go get it in my cup. And go to tryhydrateheroes.com. Get your free 3-sample pack, which will make you want to buy the 30-pack for $29.99, less than $1 a serving. That's my FSU math. All the good stuff, none of the bad stuff, 5 calories per serving, all kinds of good electrolytes, a mushroom blend that will really, really make you feel better. It's worked wonders for me. Hope it will for you as well. Tryhydrateheroes.com. 15% of sales going to our military family charities. Back in 3 with Mike Bell. Stay with us. As the great Titus O'Neil said on this very show, Mother's Day's been kicking our ass for years. It's time to celebrate Father's Day, and where better than the Gold and Diamond Source. The Gold and Diamond Source has the largest selection of men's jewelry, from classic watches to cufflinks to rings. There's something for every dad to enjoy. Yeah, we like shiny stuff too. Their staff is happy to help and guide you through the selection process, ensuring you find a gift that he will love without all the sales pressure and intimidation. That's the great part about the Golden Diamond Source. Terrific staff. And remember, every piece does not lose its value. You can always trade up in the future. So shop the largest selection of jewelry under one roof, like shopping at 10 different jewelry stores. And right now they're offering 5 years interest-free financing, which means you can get a $5,000 piece and only pay $83 a month. Come on, Dad's worth it. This Father's Day, give Dad a gift that he will cherish forever. The Gold and Diamond Source, because dads deserve it. 3800 Olmerton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com. As we head into summer and hurricane season, you must make sure that your home is fully insured. Over 40% of people in Florida are not fully insured because property rates have gone up lately. Your home is worth more, so it needs to be insured. Call the great folks at Italiano Insurance, 813-877-7799 to make sure you're fully insured. And also, you might just save some money. There are new companies coming into the state all the time. In fact, we just shopped our homeowners insurance, and I'm telling you, folks, we saved over $550 because Charity, the great customer service at Italiano Insurance, did all the work and found us a better company and a cheaper company. She'll do the same for you. 813-877-7799. Do something about these high rates. Shop them around. Could save you lots of money. It's Italiano Insurance. Been doing business here locally for over 60 years. 813-877-7799. Tell them JP sent you. JP here for the Geddes Gordon Real Estate Group and our good friend Jane Geddes. Folks, simply put, there is nobody like Jane. Jane is a former LPGA two-time major championship winner. She was also vice president of talent relations at WWE. She also has a law degree from Stetson. So if Jane can drain a 10-footer to win the U.S. Open and stare down Hulk Hogan in the boardroom, you want Jane on your real estate team to not only negotiate the best deal, but find you the perfect home or investment property. And when you work with the Geddes Gordon Group, you become part of the real estate family and get concierge services that include expertly staging, marketing, and preparing your home for sale. Advice on golf properties. Hey, you might even get some golf tips. Many of their clients become friends long after the sale or purchase is completed. It's all part of the deal. So if you're looking for that perfect home or investment property or try to get top dollar for your home, go with Jane Geddes and the Geddes Gordon Group, because there's nobody like Jane. Call 813-485-6808 or go to geddesgordon.kw.com. That's GEDDES Gordon.kw.com or call 813-485-6808. JP here for TryHydrateHeroes.com. That's our new website where you can get a free 3-pack of the great Hydrate Heroes Electrolyte Hydration Drink, all for free. Just go to TryHydrateHeroes.com. We'll send you a 3-pack. While you're there, go ahead and buy the 30-pack for just $29.99. Special going on, less than $1 a serving. For all the good stuff, none of the bad stuff. Folks, a lot of these hydration drinks have tons of sugar, tons of calories. Hydrate Heroes, just 5 calories, and they have all the electrolytes in there, plus other stuff that's going to benefit you. A mushroom blend that will help with inflammation. So much other good stuff in there, none of the bad stuff. It's Hydrate Heroes. Go to TryHydrateHeroes.com and get your free 3-pack. The new Tropical Punch flavor is out, and it is fantastic. They'll send you some. Just go to TryHydrateHeroes.com. Get all the information there. Pick up a 30-pack as well. TryHydrateHeroes.com. All the good stuff, none of the bad stuff.
Let's go.
Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show while we await the arrival of the King of Atlanta Sports.
JP, I have a programming announcement.
Okay.
We need to let everybody that listens to and watches the JP Peterson Show on FanStream Sports. We also, today we're trying something different where we are broadcasting on TikTok. On the FanStream Sports TikTok channel. If you're not following and subscribed to it's free, to the FanStream Sports TikTok feed or channel or paid, whatever the hell you call it. Mm-hmm. Go over there and do that now. Just search for FanStream Sports. You'll see the familiar circle logo there and go subscribe and follow us. We've got about 200 people watching us right now on TikTok.
Nice.
Yeah.
So Maybe all the kids will be watching Michael Kelly, their athletic director, on it.
Probably so. Yeah, I'll make sure we post on there that Michael Kelly, the FSU athletic director, is about to join us.
The USF athletic director.
What'd I say?
You said FSU.
FSU. I'm dyslexic.
Michael Alford, by the way, will be hopefully joining us here soon as well. As soon as FSU gets done with the College World Series. As soon as we win the College World Series.
You never know, man.
You never know. Well, we've been there 24 times.
Yeah.
If you lose your first game, if you're a numbers person, you'll love this. Somebody posted, I forget who to give credit to, so I'm sorry. So if you lose your first game, you have an 11% chance of winning the College World Series.
Really?
11.
I still feel like that's pretty good.
No, it's not. It's 1 in 10. It's not good. It's not good.
Well, I mean, you start off as one in how many teams make it? I mean,
well, but I guess if you're looking at it that way. But the FSU folks are going, 11. That's what we called the great Mike Martin, who recently passed away. His number was 11. Everybody referred to him as 11 because he would call everybody by their number. So 11, it's like, 11. It's written in the stars.
There you go.
I'd much rather have the win in the first game and have a 80% chance of winning.
That seems like a little
better
better
number that is, but I'd rather take that than 11.
Yeah, who were 80?
Yeah, you never know. You never know. So they got North Carolina today in the battle of ACC defectors. Who can get out of the conference quick enough? It's like, first of all, we've done all the dirty work, North Carolina. You're like, we're going to ride our coattails out of the ACC. So, could you please dutifully roll over today and let us win and move on? And
just give it to them.
Yeah. We took it up the floopus for the conference for the football deal. So now you take it up the floopus. I think that's only fair, right?
Yeah, and touching on death a little bit, not to get back to the NBA and the finals, but
speaking of death.
Yeah, speaking of death. Of course, the great NBA legend Jerry West passed away, last week.
Yes.
And I'm sure we talked about it here on the show at length.
Yes.
We talked about it on our other shows at length. But did you hear, and this is pretty dark, but immediately I read something, it was probably on X, that Jerry West would rather die than watch the Celtics win another title.
He did say that. He actually said that into a microphone. Well, think about it. He went to the finals how many times against them and lost? Like 6, I think?
Yeah. They couldn't beat the Celtics back then.
They could not beat the Celtics. I mean, it was unbelievable. My first basketball team that I loved was the Lakers. Like, I was a Lakers fan.
Yeah.
Wilt Chamberlain. I think I rattled it off the other day. Chamberlain, West, Gail Goodrich, West and Gail Goodrich in the back, Happy Hairston and Jim McMillan up front, and Wilt Chamberlain.
Yeah.
How about that? How about that?
Right there. That's not a bad lineup, is it?
No, not the 1973 world champions right there.
Right.
Finally broke through, but they beat the Knicks for that, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
They didn't beat the Celtics.
Right.
So they could, West could never get over the hump on, and he was the last guy to win MVP on a losing team. He averaged 38 points a game. Imagine 38 points per game and with no 3-pointer.
Yeah, can you imagine what his point totals would have been with a 3-point line?
Yeah, especially as good a shooter as he was.
Yeah.
So you're thinking at least he would average probably 40. I probably averaged 5 made threes.
Oh, at least.
Yeah. So that kicked that up to about 43, 44 points a game as a finals average.
Yeah.
Nobody's doing that. Nobody's doing that. All right. Without further ado, let's welcome in the man, the myth, the legend from 92.9 The Game in Atlanta, my former colleague, the great Mike Bell. What's up? What's up, Mikey? Oh, you froze. You froze. There you are. Now you're live. Live.
Yeah, man. It's endless, man. Don't get married. Don't get a house for all the kids out there watching JP. I got a friggin' honey-do list a mile long. Look at this. I mean, this is my life.
Walking out of Lowe's, Home Depot, sweating your ass off. We've got some toilet to install today. What are you doing?
He's freezing is what he's doing.
Freezing what you're doing. It's so hot out there. You can't even get a signal in Atlanta. It's like 110 Lord. On the tarmac. You zipped out on us.
That's a good way to freeze, though. That's a good smile right there.
It is. That is. We had a freeze earlier in the week that was not good. Let's see.
There we go.
See if we can bring him back in.
We got audio.
I hear something in the background. I hear him flushing a toilet in the background. No. All right. I'll tell him to get to a better spot and call back later. He'll jump back in. Oh, there he is. There we go. The tap dancing music is on now. All right, let's try again. Let's try. All right, there you go. Where are you now?
Say hi.
What are you?
Former basketball coach at Hampton, and
nice.
Point guard too. And the only place I've good Wi-Fi is in my gym now, so I'm going to now annoy the entire gym by talking.
Excellent.
Right.
Now you can talk crap about the Falcons right there at the gym. Hey, I know you. Let's inspire crowd interaction. Let's go. They want to jump in. Yeah, what the hell we doing taking Michael Penix? Whose idiot ass idea was that?
Are we Team Cousins or Team Penix?
Well, let me tell you something. I was Team Cousins, and then, of course, we drafted Penix, which I got to be honest with you. This city, it's so bananas. You got everybody, not everybody, but a big portion of the fan base still misses old Mike Vick, and they'll only accept a quarterback that is of their alignment. So when we got Cousins, we actually had to convince some of our audience we got the best free agent quarterback available, right? And then we go and get Penix, and now guys are like, oh, it's brilliant. It makes perfect sense. It's like the city has been gaslit, like it's Stockholm Syndrome. Everybody outside of 285 realized it's the most stupid decision in the history of the NFL. But this is Atlanta. But it's, long story short, JP, if we're perfectly honest, I think Terry Fontenot, and I really do believe this came from above his pay grade. I think this was an Arthur Blank move to never be in that hell we were in the last 2 years without having a quarterback. Yeah. And so now we've got redundancy like we've never seen. Right. Even though we need edge rushing, we should have just drafted Penix and spent free agent money on edge rush.
Right. That would have been fine. I mean, there's a lot of different ways you could have gone, except the way you went, and now you still have no pass rusher. By the way, Tristan Wirth says thank you. Did not want to see Dallas Turner for the next 10 years. So he was very much, and Baker Mayfield also sends his salutations. Thank you for not drafting a pass rusher. So they're very happy.
Right. Now, look, here's the thing. We got a guy in Raheem Morris that I know it was kind of to outside Atlanta, like kind of a strange hire, almost like a retread. I'm glad we didn't go down the Belichick road. I don't think the second act, I don't think that third act actually would have worked, JP.
No.
But in the case of Raheem Morris, the team loves this guy, super energy guy. He's almost like Dan Quinn with, I don't know, dialing down the rhetoric. He's definitely an energy guy. But coming from the Rams, they went and drafted some real fire breathers in the third round. We think we've drafted some fire breathers in the third round. But I can't lie to you. It's all on. We're hoping that the second year, third year guys come together. Right now, we don't have edge rush. We don't have pass rush.
Nothing proven. No, obviously, Ra was a head coach here in Tampa. I got to know him really, really well. Right. Love him. Absolutely love him. I'm glad he got another shot. I wish it wasn't in Atlanta because, the whole rivalry thing. But love him. I think he's going to do a great job. I was hoping you'd hire Belichick. That would have been a 7-9 forever. 7-10, I guess now. Forever. Until he got the record and just blah.
Nobody debates his legacy, but it's just the personnel decisions. Look, the last 5 years, that's on his record. You can't take it away. Not to mention his coaching tree, if you take away Saban, which is, of course, college, Belichick's coaching tree is a stump. So it's just
grinded
nothing we wanted a piece of, right?
Absolutely. So, so the Falcons go into this season still searching for pass rush, but an offense with Kirk Cousins that should be pretty damn explosive. And how did he look in OTAs? What are the thoughts coming out of OTAs?
Different type of receivers. Now, I got to be honest, when we paid for Darnell Mooney, I was like, who? But the dude is a 4.3 burner from Chicago. He had a great 1,000-yard season. He kind of fell off the grid, little health issues. But if he can be healthy, we've got speed. Obviously, in Drake London, we've got a guy that can go up and catch anything. And Drake London's an intense guy. I think he's feeling the fact he was an offensive rookie of the year. He hasn't had a 1,000-yard season. But when you have two stiffs like Marcus Mariota, Agent Zero, and now Desmond Ridder, he's lucky that the ball even got in his area code. Yeah. The other thing, JP, is Kyle Pitts. Now, it's tough because it didn't make sense to draft him at 4, 3 years ago. He gets hurt. He's not the same guy. Last year, he was never 100%. This year, he looks like a different dude. So it's almost like getting a free agent. And if Zach Robinson, who comes over, was the quarterback coach for the Rams, now ROC, if he uses him the way he should be used, like a Tony Gonzalez, forget using him as a blocker, okay? That's not his forte.
Right.
Just get him out there, create the mismatches with some safeties or corners, and let's go to work. And then Bijan Robinson. I mean, we got two great running backs. Tyler Algier, the 1,000-yard rusher.
He's a beast.
So here's the deal. If you look at where we are on both sides of the ball, a perfect season for us could be like the 2016 year where the offense was scoring up north of 28 points. You get the other team playing catch up, and that makes your pass rush better. So that would be my plan. If there was a perfect way for this season to unfold, that's it.
So Mike Bell, 92.9 The Game in Atlanta. You guys are the standard in the number one station there. So you got to tell me, what was the morning after like when they drafted Penix? The entire NFL hierarchy, everybody that has a freaking podcast like me is like, you morons, you idiots. What was that like that morning?
Well, again, like I said, being Atlanta, the most unique sports talk market in America because of the demographics, people were like, it's brilliant. It's great. I like this. And I'm literally going, I literally felt like I was in an episode of The Twilight Zone. Like, that's why we joked around, like Stockholm Syndrome. We had the general manager on. I go, why didn't you just draft Penix and go spend the money on edge rusher? Or hell, just split the difference on backup. You go get Justin Fields, and then you've got a decent backup. But don't spend the money on Cousins, and then you'll make the fan base happy because we literally had some guys wanted Fields over Cousins. That's how twisted things get sometimes in this town. So, but I'm with you. It's hard to wrap your head around. Now, a few months later, we do know this. We'll never be as bad as we were the last 2 years. But in doing it the way we did we maximize the roster for a run the next 2 or 3 years? No, we didn't.
No.
You know, but the thing is, but if they didn't believe in Jared Verse or Dallas Turner, or Leatu from UCLA, which maybe they didn't, I don't know. My feeling was spend the money on edge rushers.
Spend the money on edge rushers. Go get one. Yeah.
And if you don't get Kirk Cousins, okay, so people know you're in the market for a quarterback. Nobody had Penix at 8. The only team you maybe had to leapfrog was the Giants, but they apparently were never interested in Penix. Yeah. So you could have standed pat and gotten your guy.
Right. No, I agree with you 100%. That's the Cousins thing, isolated, Penix isolated. They all make sense. But together, what they did was the absolute minimum you could have done with all the salary cap and draft capital available. And here in Tampa Bay, we couldn't be happier. All right. The other thing I want to hit you with is, I went and looked it up during the series as I watched the Braves pummel the Rays for the most part. And I'm watching that beautiful park and the Battery and everything and remembering how the whole thing came together. The fact that the Braves just moved their stadium to where their fans are. Shocking development. What a concept. Right. And then everything they built around it. And their payroll went from, I believe, $110 million to $260 last year or this year. $260. And we're sitting here, we've never cracked $100 million as the Rays, and we're about to make a huge mistake and build a stadium in the same location. Can you kind of encapsulate what the Braves have done in the last few years to win a World Series and how they leverage this stadium to make that happen?
Well, first off, we got a great general manager in Alex Anthopoulos. And it's funny because for years, the parent company, Liberty Media, I've kind of taken a page out of your playbook, JP, saying, what are these guys going to spend some money? They always have like a sort of a self-imposed salary cap. We're Atlanta's the 7th. Next census will be the 6th largest market in the country. Let's go. Let's spend accordingly. And you really can't argue with that. Liberty Media, by the way, they spun off. They own Liberty. They own Formula One and the Braves. They both spun off. They're their own entity now. And I got shares in it. It's a good stock to have.
Okay.
But the Braves have their own thing. The only thing now, JP, is more philosophical when it comes to the general manager. He does not like to overspend for pitching. So we got Max Fried. He's going to probably walk at the end of the year because they'll never give him a $200 million contract. We'll give Chris Sale a nice piece. We'll give Charlie Morton $20 million, every year. And this is probably
short term.
Right. But he's never been into like doing that Yankees type
10-year deal. Yeah, I think that's smart. Smart.
But the thing is now he's locked in all the position players. We bet on the come with Spencer Strider, another Tommy John. Don't know what he's going to be, but you've locked up basically your 1 through 8. Problem now is you lose Acuna for the second time in 4 years. Michael Harris just went down with a hamstring. That could be minimum 4 to 6 weeks. So last World Series 2021. It was amazing. He went and got Soler from Kansas City. Nobody could pick out Soler in a police lineup. Rosario from Cleveland, Jock Peterson we picked up, and it was almost like Moneyball. And so they cumulatively, and Duvall came back, and they picked up the stats, and they made that amazing run. This year we need help with the bullpen. Got to get another starter. You're going to have to get a position player. The question now is, can the Braves keep their head above water, stay alive as like the number 1 or 2 wild card until you get to the trade window? Because I think this might be a year where they're going to have to take on some salary instead of doing it on the cheap. Can't argue with Anthopoulos. Next year, JP, with all the contracts kicking in, we get into like top 3 in payroll, which is someplace the Braves have never been. But again, as you said, they're generating a ton of revenue with the ballpark and the Battery.
Yeah, that's the key, right? And that's just packed all the time, right?
Yeah, I mean,
remember when they said it was too hot for an outdoor stadium, parking would be, traffic would be crazy. They kind of figured it out, didn't they?
Brother T, let me tell you, we were literally like, this is the stupidest place you could ever be. It'll be you'll never get there. I've never missed a first pitch leaving from Midtown Atlanta, 285 and 75. Yeah, it can be a brutal corridor at times, but I got to be honest with you. It's been an absolute hit. Matter of fact, if we ever got hockey here, I'd put hockey across the street at the Cobb Galleria, which is a mixed-use spot, which is kind of dying on the vine. But the location has been great. The Battery has been packed. I granted that when you don't have baseball, say, well, how do these guys survive? It's its own scene. Bars, restaurants, you get a big theater with big time music acts that come in. So it's been totally viable.
All right. What else going on in Atlanta there?
Well, just waiting to see what the Hawks are going to do. I know NBA and Tampa Bay is like, well, you don't talk NBA, but we do have the draft coming up. We got the number 1 pick for the first time in organization history. We have Trae Young and we have DeJounte Murray. They brought in another point guard to help out Trae. Hasn't done anything. So a lot of fans will
send Trae to the Magic. We'll take it down here.
A lot of folks, man, I tell you, Trae, it's a lightning rod. People either love the guy or hate the guy. I say he's the same guy as Luka. He's gotten coaches fired, doesn't play defense, tremendous scorer, also very aloof, like all players in this generation, super passive aggressive. So I think they'll keep Trae, move DeJounte, and we'll just see what they can do. But this management team is not impressive. We've gone backwards since going to the conference finals.
Yeah. All right, last question. I know you got your FSU hat on.
Not the last question, because I have one too.
Okay, you want to vent about our Noles? Especially, we got screwed again at the College World Series. I mean, are you freaking kidding me?
Well, I mean, look, the check swing thing, if you're going to beat the number 1 seed, that you can't underestimate how huge that would have been to send the Vols into the losers bracket, and then who knows where you go. But again, these aren't professional umpires. These are college umpires. Yeah, and I don't know if the NCAA will ever have the cojones to start going the way MLB does with the minors. Look, I know I sound like a wackadoodle. I'm all for robot umps at all levels. We got the technology.
At this point, yes. At this point, yes. I'm with you.
Get it right. But no, man, by the way, while we're talking Noles, there's about 15 to 20,000 boosters here in Atlanta. And some of them want to disavow me because I'm not sold on DJU at quarterback going up against Tex Haynes King in Ireland. I'm going over to Dublin for the game there. But I'm a little nervous, JP, about turning over nearly 2/3 of the roster this offseason.
In Norvell, I believe.
Right.
I think he's gonna. I have ultimate trust in that dude, and he has done. He's done wonders there. So if anybody can put it all together, it's him. But first game of the season, new quarterback news. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard. I get it, but we'll see. I'll see you in Dublin though.
Right, man. We'll be over there. We got good old line. Looks like we got some good pieces in the secondary.
Yeah,
always
more speed.
I mean, we're going to find out if this is a truly sustainable business model, right? But I mean, I think Kevin and Lane Kiffin are kind of going down that same road with all the transfers.
I like it so far. Go ahead, Tim.
Mike, you mentioned earlier bringing a hockey team back to Atlanta. Is there actual talk in the city of bringing a third NHL franchise to Atlanta now?
Now, again, the first time it was Tom Cousins, the real estate mogul, and he got killed in the recession in 79 and 80. So that one, it was what it was. That's how we lost the team to Calgary. Sure. The second time we lost the team was gross negligence and incompetence. It was a bunch of jock sniffers called Atlanta Spirit LLC, the most litigious ownership group. These guys literally were it was like a circular firing squad. They're all suing each other. That's why the NHL never stepped in like they did in Phoenix to say, let's maybe put something together here. Yeah. They wanted no part of it. So basically, guys who couldn't tell a blue line from a clothesline. Now we've got 2 different groups. There's one it's a big automotive group. I don't know if he's got, because the let's be honest, the expansion fee is going to be like close to $1 billion. You know, it's
Yeah.
But there's a venue in South Forsyth, which is a bit of a schlep for people in Midtown, but suburbanites don't want to come downtown to watch hockey. That's just
Right.
the kind of thing.
Yeah.
The Braves have shown you.
Got to be up north.
You got to take the game to the fans. Look, I always thought with the Thrashers, they should have been LA Kings and embrace the African American community, make it look like the Flyers, just goon it up early until you can put the skill position players in and get the whole city involved. Yeah. But that ship has sailed. So it'll be suburbia. And now there's a second group with Anson Carter. He's involved with the ownership group who owns the Gladiators, which is a minor league team.
Yeah.
So there's two. It's Houston, I think, or us for the next expansion now that the Phoenix is in Salt Lake.
Right.
Yeah. Atlanta seems like the right spot. But
I hope it's Atlanta, not Houston, because nothing good happens in Houston.
That's for damn sure.
Bro, we got the demographics. This time it would if it had worked the second time, we had terrible owners.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Ownership. Most important thing. All right, Mikey. Thanks, buddy, for the time. Always great to see you, my friend.
Sorry for the.
No, you're good, man. Hope to see you in Dublin.
Thanks for 24/7 fitness for the Wi-Fi.
Yeah, absolutely. Get a little plug in there. Thanks,
plug
dude.
there.
See you.
Cheers.
Like Bell right there. Good dude. Well, we had some good times in Atlanta.
He's funny. I bet you did. I'd like to hear some stories sometime.
Well, Mike was involved in something with a guy by the name of Steak Shapiro. Do you remember Steak?
Mm-hmm.
Steak. Well, they famously, it's actually how I got my job in Atlanta. They had an incredible morning show. It was just dominant in the market. In the 790 The Zone, they just, they built it themselves. A bunch of on air guys in the 90s went out on their own, went and got some financing, and built this thing out of nothing. And it was a freaking wild west show with all the strip clubs in Atlanta involved. I mean, the players, it was the stories that they tell. I mean, drugs, women, alcohol. Yeah. I mean, it was everything you could think of and more.
Like most radio was in the 90s.
Yes, it was insane.
I was there.
It was part of that. And they thought one morning they thought that doing a bit on who was it? Remember the Saints player that was in the wheelchair suffering from Lou Gehrig's disease.
Oh, Steve.
Steve. Brain fart. You guys know who I'm talking about.
Crap. Yeah.
Yeah. So they thought that might be funny to make fun of him. So they all got fired.
Come on, really?
So that's how I got my morning job in Atlanta after they got fired. But they reconstituted. They came back. Yeah, Steve Gleason. Yeah, Steve Gleason. And so I worked with Mike. Mike did the afternoon show, and I did the morning show. And we were wildly successful, but we had a great time. It was really, really fun. We were on trying to remember the Sports South simulcast. So we had just huge audience, absolutely huge audience, and we kicked ass for a couple of years. I mean, literally, I think we were number 2. There are 3 sports shows in the market, and I think we were number 1 in the mornings after about a year. And we're all, kicking out. This is on an AM station. Our competition was on the FM. And so we come into work one day, or they call us in and say, hey, we got a staff meeting, and there'd been a lot of talk about us getting an FM stick, and we were like, and then all our ratings are up, and everything's kicking out. We're all kicking ass, and so they bring us into a conference room, Mike and all the talent, and there's an attorney there with a stack of papers. No. Yeah. And they say, hey, our GM's like, hey, you guys have done a great job. The reboot could not have gone any better. Ratings are fantastic. And we're all like, what are we which way are we going here? Like, what's happening? And he's saying all the great stuff and rattling off all these numbers. But the parent company, which at the time was not Liberty Media, but an insurance company of some sort. Okay. After, they were like, they just don't have the stomach to do the sports radio thing anymore, because, that was 2015, I believe. Right. It was just kind of when, political correctness or the canceling, just started to get to a ridiculous, it was just the beginning of that, and just didn't want to deal with the pushback from anything, that something was said and it goes viral, and now they got a lawsuit or whatever. Jefferson Pilot was
Okay.
our parent company. And I just didn't want to do it. And it was like, here, see the attorney for your severance packages.
Oh,
And then we're all just like,
but I mean, that's radio for you.
what? We're
Radio
like,
people
what?
don't own radio stations anymore. You know, you don't have that latitude anymore. And it's terrible. I hate that.
No, the corporations don't have the stomach for it.
No.
And yeah, it's sad. I mean, where the radio business has gone, we could go on all day about this.
Yeah.
And because you were, you as, and not so much me, I kind of got into radio 2011, I think, when I first started this show. Or actually, no, it's 2009, as I was, I could see what was happening at local television, because of the recession. Local TV stations were cutting back and sports was the first thing to go. So I could see that coming. So I started to do the radio show and get in when I was producing my own show, working with 1010 Sports here in the local market. And we did really, really well. Did really, really well. And we had a small AM station, and we did really, really well.
Nice.
And, and then I went to Atlanta. Just been a very, very interesting ride, but where it is now, Mike works for corporate radio up there, and it's, they're constantly having to fight these battles.
Yeah.
It's just different. It's just different than it was back in the day. You're absolutely right. And of course, the downfall, for a little inside baseball here, most of the local stations were allowed to be purchased by one entity. Mm-hmm. And I'm trying to remember when that was. There was an entity I'm trying to remember the entity too. My freaking brain farting all along. I think it was Cap Cities, a part of derivative of that. Anyway, this huge hedge fund investment firm went out and bought up all, once everything got deregulated, bought all the local stations, and then basically consolidated them into one big syndicated programming network. So all the local jobs were just tossed out, and everything became syndicated. So you got the same homogenized bull crap that so they could control the message. Basically, you don't have all these local people with individual ideas and individual brains putting out their stuff. It's going to be all, you step out of line, you're fired. You step out of line, you're fired. We're going to have this is corporate America. This is monopolies. We're allowing this now. And there went the local radio business. Yeah.
It stopped being about personalities, which was the draw to local radio programming, right? I want to hear this guy. I don't care about what he's talking about. I want to hear this guy. He's my buddy. He's my friend. I listen to him for 3 hours a day. Right.
Yeah.
And it came down to less about the personalities and more about the content, which could be standardized when you own 100 radio stations across the country. Now everybody can talk about the same thing. We only have to pay one guy to do 100 shows from 12 to 3 instead of 100 guys to do one show from 12 to 3, and we can control the content easier. So it's a bad product. It has been for a long time.
As we said, monopolies are not good for consumers. They're just not. They limit choice, they limit opportunity, they limit competition by definition. And that's not capitalism. That's not the way it's supposed to be. And we have that problem across all industries in America right now. I mean, there's just way too much consolidation that's been allowed, and that's by design. That's by design. Yeah. As our freedoms get taken away bit by bit,
little by little.
Yeah. And nobody seems to be that worried about it.
Nope.
James says, yeah, but you guys are doing a great job with your platform. I mean, I never, ever think about turning on the radio in Tampa. So how 620 still survives is beyond me. Well, I mean, they are 19th in the ratings consistently. So
there you go.
And you just look at where, that station has gone. I have some good friends that work over there, and I wish them the best. There are also some people over there that I don't wish the best. And they probably feel the same way I know they feel the same way about me.
Yeah.
But no, it's just, they don't have anybody, with all due respect, they don't have anybody over there that's ever been an anchor on TV or a beat writer or played the sport. Mm-hmm. They just don't. You look at every other radio station across America, sports radio stations, especially ones that have the only sports radio station in a major market, they have a lot of top talent. And these guys that have been there, big names that have played the sports in all these big cities. And here they struggle with revenue because of a lot of different reasons. But
because the content's bad. That's why.
I mean, I'm trying to be nice. I'm trying to be nice. I don't want to be mean anymore. I'm trying to be. They do what they do, and I wish them the best. And like I said, there's some really, really good dudes over there. Mm-hmm. I wish them the best. And they're handcuffed. I'm sure they would like to be able to.
Not
spend
their fault. Yeah.
No, it's corporate. It's corporate. They would love to be able to spend. But they had a huge debt service on that station that they have to pay, and the only way to really cut costs is to cut the talent cost. Mm-hmm. And they've consistently done that for a long time. But I wish them the best. I think T-Kraz does a great job. I don't want to mention I don't want to leave anybody out. Love Zach. The very hardworking dudes, man. Aaron's a good guy. Love him. They do what they can. But it's different. It's different. And I'm looking, and they'll take shots at me. I get it. It's no big deal. I can handle it. But I think, the numbers speak for themselves. They speak for themselves. Yeah. And I wish we had more latitude on this platform, to be honest with you, because even though I run my own company and I do this by myself, and I thank all of my advertisers for supporting me, because they get phone calls all the time from people trying to strong arm them. And they've stuck with me. So I really appreciate, that's why I always say support my advertisers, the Geddes Gordon Group, American Mortgage Services, Synovus Bank, Extravaganza Productions. You can flip it over. G's Law Group, Hydrate Heroes, the big sponsor. So please go order Hydrate Heroes at tryhydrateheroes.com. Italiano Insurance has been with me forever. So we really appreciate all those folks. Bay Area Modern Medical Center, Chris Lugo. Thank you so much. So please visit those places and tell them thank you for supporting the show, because without them, we ain't got no show. We ain't got no show. They're the bastions and the supporters of free speech, and we thank them forever. And Extravaganza Productions, if I did not mention them. Love those folks. All right, let's take a break. We got Michael Kelly coming up at 11:30. Take a break and worship our sponsors like we do. Thank you so much for Extravaganza Productions. If you got a meeting coming up, you got a big birthday coming up, and don't worry about the cost, folks. They'll tell you what the cost is. It might be cheaper than you think. You're going to spend money on that event anyway, so you might as well get the professionals to do it right and give you some creative choices. They have done a ridiculous amount of events, special events in the Tampa Bay area for over 30 years. I think they've been in business, and they are the best. Extravaganza Productions, Paul Thomas and Dolly Brown, that group over there, got creative producers that'll make your event sing. Go to extravaganzaproductions.com and get your free creative meeting. Back in 3. Stay with us.
You're listening to The Strike. 102.5 WHPT HD2 Sarasota, Tampa, St. Pete.
JP here for the Jeeves Law Group and my man Scott Jeeves, who lives right here and has long been a highly respected member of our community. He's a proud sponsor of the Tampa Riverwalk. Jeeves Law Group is also a proud sponsor of our Grand Central District in St. Pete and has neighborhood events throughout the year. He has an office on Central Avenue in St. Pete and one on South Howard in Tampa. You can't get more local than that. So when you need an attorney, you're going to hire some huge firm that advertises all over the state, or the one that supports your favorite sports show. It's the Jeeves Law Group. We're local, we're trusted, and we get results. For personal injury and personal attention, call us for a free case evaluation. That's 8889-JEEVES. That's 8889-JEEVES.
All right, this is for all you guys who don't want to go to the gym and do 5,000 crunches. At Bay Area Modern Medical Center, you can get on the new True Body machine where you can reduce fat and tone up your muscle. It's like doing 54,000 crunches in just 15 minutes. Define your body as you see fit. True Body offers personalized muscle stimulation that delivers the equivalent of those 54,000 crunches in just 15 minutes. Just get in touch with them at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. Chris Lugo and the team over there will set you up on True Body and get amazing results. Non-invasive with comfortable and little to no pain and zero downtime. You can isolate and target those areas that you want to improve and treat multiple areas simultaneously. It's an amazing machine, so check it out at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com.
JP here for Extravaganza Productions. You know, I've worked with these pros on so many big and small events. They recently did the Kappa Alpha Psi Grand Reunion, the Tampa RV Show Exhibit. They did the Skills Center opening of Tampa Bay. They can do those small events. They do the biggest of events. So if you were thinking about planning a meeting or special event, call the talented staff at Team EPI. They will give you a free creative meeting if you mention the JP Peterson Show. They will provide you with an exceptional experience. Heck, they'll even show you their huge warehouse with great props. Anything you want. They'll do it on time and on budget. You can reach them at their Tampa headquarters at 813-621-4700 or go to extravaganzaproductions.com. Tell them JP sent you.
JP here for my good friend Thaddeus Bullard, also known as WWE superstar and global ambassador Titus O'Neil, or as his kids call him, Dad. I'm excited to share that the Bullard Family Foundation is partnering with Tampa Well Activated by Tampa General Hospital and Revealing Truth Ministries to host the celebration of all celebrations for the real superstars in our community, the Dads. Everyone's invited to join us for a free celebration on Father's Day, June 16th at the Mid-Florida Credit Union Amphitheater in Tampa. Doors open at 9:01 a.m. with food, entertainment, games, and lots of surprises and guests in store for the remarkable dads out there making a difference every day. And you know, if Titus is hosting it, it's gonna be big. Bring the whole family and make sure you register early to celebrate with us at the Superstar Dads Celebration. Now, you need tickets for the event. It's free, but you got to get your tickets at bullardfamilyfoundation.org. That's bullardfamilyfoundation.org.
Let's go. Right now. Back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show. Michael Kelly, USF Athletic Director, coming up at 11:30. Of course, that last spot was dated from last week. But shout out to Titus for putting on an amazing event. Saw Rondé Barber there. Chad Chronister was there. A bunch of us proud dads were there. And he did a great job celebrating us fathers. And I wish a few more people would have turned out. Free food was awesome. Like real good food truck food. You ever had those grilled cheese?
Yes.
At the food truck, the melt mix or whatever the guy was awesome. Yeah. Had some nice barbecue.
He's got a lobster roll food truck that rolls around Dallas here. That's just amazing, man.
See,
seafood
from a truck,
dude. I am telling you, this is legit.
These food trucks are awesome. I mean, they're like rolling kitchens. So I mean, it's not like. But sometimes I'm like, man, you've been sitting out here all day and you got your lobster in there.
And it is amazing.
They have refrigeration in these trucks.
$17. I mean, they're not
how much?
$17 for one lobster roll, and it's worth every penny.
I mean, can we talk about prices for just this? I mean,
by the way, we have to. First of all, we should explain to everybody the reason the spots are behind is because of me. So let's put the blame where it belongs. Right. On the spots being behind. But anyway, yeah, we can talk about prices all day.
You had to go see a cardiologist, Tim. So let's make sure everybody knows that he's working with about 30%
yes
blood flow,
especially to my brain.
To your so we get what we we pay for, right? Exactly. So that's all right. We'll get it all right tomorrow, hopefully.
Yep.
We got some new spots to get in. And by the way, if you'd like to advertise on the JP Peterson Show, this amazing show, you just hit me up, jp@thejppetersonshow.com, and we'll send you over some very affordable options for your business. Hey, Hard Rock guys, let's go. Get on board. You need some of that Seminole Hard Rock money. Come on. We talk. You have your own gambling segment every day. Anything you want. Come on. If you build us a Rays stadium, then you're really we'll definitely partner up.
That's a genius idea right there.
What a great idea that would be. So thanks. We'll get it right tomorrow. All right. To some of our great listeners, we'll do some comments here. Yeezy says, man, I'm itching for some Bucks. Excited for a season. I think we have a lot of potential. Let's talk some Bucks, shall we? Since my man here, Tim, is writing a Bucks blog these days, right?
Mm-hmm, absolutely.
Nathan Elliott, by the way, points out, speaking of the Bucks, if Penix is not drafted by the Falcons, the Bucks do not get Graham Barton. I think that's one more pick, of a positional player, but I think Penix probably still goes before the Bucks, to maybe the Broncos. But yeah, I mean, yes, the way they handled it was just with all the cap room they had and the picks that they had, for them to end up with Kirk Cousins and Michael Penix and no real edge rusher is a complete whiff.
Right.
It's a complete whiff as an organization. If you knew you liked Michael Penix, why don't you save the Kirk Cousins money and go get Justin Fields for next to nothing?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, people want to dump on Justin Fields. He played pretty damn well at the end of this season, had absolutely zero to work with. I'm not here to say he's the second coming, but, for what you paid Kirk Cousins at his age and his injury history, I just don't see it working out. And what the hell has Kirk Cousins ever done besides throw for a lot of yards?
Lose a lot of primetime games.
Yeah, he hasn't won squadoosh.
Falcons better hope they don't play in any primetime games this season.
Yeah, no shit, absolutely. So, but you could have, like Mike says, you could have gone out and got Daniil Hunter or one of the best pass rushers on the market, and from a free agent standpoint, and probably another two players for what you paid Kirk Cousins, another edge rusher, a mid-level edge rusher, and then brought in Fields and then brought in Penix, and you have him on his rookie contract. I mean, you could have upgraded that team dramatically, and see what the Bucs did was they went out and they filled every one of their needs. Will all these players work out? I doubt it, but I think a majority of them will. So the Falcons, like Mike said, they whiffed on the opportunity to markedly upgrade their team across the board. And I'm here to tell you, and Trevor Lawrence, we haven't really talked about his contract, but what he just signed. And now you look at the Baker Mayfield deal. Fantastic.
How great does that look, right?
And look at the Mike Evans deal. Now the Justin Jefferson.
Even better.
I mean, even the Antoine Winfield Jr. deal, I'm like, that's good too. Even though he's the highest paid defensive back. But when you're saving money in these other places and guys aren't out there to break the bank, yeah, could Baker have gotten more money other places? Yeah, obviously.
Yeah.
Could Mike Evans have? Yeah, obviously. That's what's so special about what the Bucs are doing. You clearly have a group of guys. It's so reminiscent of what the Lightning did. It's like exactly what the Lightning did. When Steven Stamkos took less money, it set the table for everybody else to do the same. Kucherov didn't run. I mean, they're getting paid good money, but they could be getting paid a little bit more other places. But they all decided, you know what? We're in it to win it. And that creates the culture of team unity, creates a culture of togetherness moving forward. You saw it with the Celtics. You see it in every championship team. You see it in almost every championship team. This rowing of the boat in the same direction. There's no guy out of rhythm doing his own thing. Antonio Brown, Deshaun Jackson, none of you don't get any, because if you do, it starts going in circles, and it's no good. It's no good. And the Bucs really have a nice feel right now, which is why they're messing around with Randy Gregory. I have no idea.
I don't get that either.
Bye-bye. I think
that was a distraction waiting to happen.
Right. I mean, I understand he's got a legal suit going against the NFL, and you want to kind of get that worked out. I don't think there's any animosity, but, you would have hoped that they could have come to some agreement that they would have gotten his ass to practice for the OTAs, mandatories. And the fact that he couldn't figure that out is not a good sign. And there's really no room for him on the depth chart with some of the guys that they have there.
Well, I mean, his contract's 1 year, $3 million base. It could be up to $5 million. Dude, that's money. That's a significant chunk of change for a guy that's probably not going to contribute. I mean, was he probably going to be cut before the 53? Probably. He's not going to make the 53 at this rate. I mean, he's not even in practice. So I don't know. It just seemed it was a weird thing for me. Weird place for him to go.
I get it. Yeah, and why they're still messing around with it. And and it's taking up air, it's taking up breath, from the media asking about it, and people talking about it. I guess you got to find something negative to talk about with the Bucs. You want to try to add some balance. Yeah. But it's just to me, it's a complete non-entity. And I think the team sees it that way as well. I don't think it's a distraction for them at all. I think they're just like, if he gets here, fine. If he doesn't, no big deal, and I think they're going to keep it that way. James says Boston is just so good. I mean, they should win multiple titles. It would have been better had Denver beat Minnesota, but that's basketball. You think Denver was unbeatable and they get beat. Yeah, I thought, and I thought Minnesota was they're just not ready. They're on the come, but they're just not ready. And about the Seminole Indians gambling win, Thomas Casper says Indians are outside antitrust monopoly, especially in Florida. Yeah, I get that, but just effectively, they have a monopoly in Florida. Right. So that monopolies are never good for the consumer. I understand it's completely allowed. I get that, but it's just not. That's typically not great for the consumer. So I wondered. I would think that there's some protections built in there. I would think, but we'll find out more about that as we go along. James says, not for a horrible check swing instead of a strikeout, FSU would have won game one. You're damn right. Yeah. Richie Rich says their app is in states that have competition. What, the Hard Rock app? Maybe, I guess. Can they operate other places? I would think. Yeah.
Yeah.
But other places can't operate here.
Well, I mean, yeah. Well, I mean, not. Well, that's what the exclusivity agreement is, right? Like it can only be them.
Rick says to keep begging, JP, get that corporate teat. Oh, from the Hard Rock, yeah. For the right amount of money.
That's just business.
Right. Yeah. I mean, we got a lot of gamblers on here. With me alone, you're making money.
Heck yeah.
Nathan says Penix was the first domino in chain of picks that changed because he was taken too early. Yeah, that's true. It kind of was the domino there. Also says cousin is this generation's Dan Marino. Well, he ain't even close to Dan Marino, bro. He's not even close to Dan Marino. Come on. Dan Marino was the greatest passer of the football I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I don't think Justin Herbert's got a great arm, but I'm talking about accuracy, velocity, anticipation. The dude played without an ACL for most of his career. He just sat there in a pocket, just throwing quickest release, short. I mean, just poetry in my watching that dude. Well, it was like, watching a true artist just paint on a canvas with Duper and Clayton and Joe Rose and Nat Moore. And I mean, he was just unbelievable.
And it's funny that he's very, he's usually left out of those conversations of the greatest quarterbacks, right? Because, he never got a ring. Well, lots of guys never got rings that were great quarterbacks. Jim Kelly's one of the greatest. All those guys out of that 83 class, right? Well, except for maybe Ken O'Brien and Mark Malone and some of the lesser knowns, but a lot of those guys were great.
Yeah, Elway. Who was in that class? Elway, Blackledge, Marino.
Todd Blackledge, Marino.
Ken O'Brien.
Great New York Jet.
Who are we forgetting? Help us out there.
Yeah, John Elway, Todd Blackledge, Jim Kelly, Tony Eason, Ken O'Brien, and Dan Marino. There you go.
Yeah, those guys put up a lot of yards. I think Randy Gregory is getting bad advice. He just got JTS telling him to stay home. Yeah, that's probably it. Yeah, he doesn't need any more competition for sure. No. All right, we got Oilers Panthers tonight. So tonight, for all you folks that were like, "Oh, we gotta root for the Panthers, Florida, blah 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 blah." I'm like, I want to keep the cup in Florida. I'm like, okay, if they win tonight, and the rats are coming from the heavens, and they're skating around with our Stanley Cup, how you gonna feel then? How you gonna feel then, Lightning fans? That's when it's gonna hit you in the pit of your stomach. Not to mention because we used to be able to, when Florida fans came into the arena, we'd point them towards the gift shop and say, if you want to see what a Stanley Cup ring looks like, we got some replicas in there if you'd like to see it. We always had that in our back pocket, right? Whenever they beat us 9-2, it's like, scoreboard, look at the cups, rings. But so if they get one, they'll still have less than us, but they'll have one. So.
We made fun of the St. Louis Blues for how many years that they never had a cup or rings, well, then they went and got one. It's not fun anymore.
Right. Exactly. And this seems to be a fait accompli. So it's a gentleman's sweep. Go have your 8-1. Go ahead, Connor. Get some numbers up there. Now you're ahead of little Wayne Gretzky, and you got your assist record. Good for you. Now we're just going to blow your doors off again and skate with the cut at home.
So
bring our owner another $10 million gate and be done with it.
So pulling for the Oilers in this. You have no idea how much I hate the Panthers.
It's not happening. Not happening.
I know. I mean, it's like it wasn't happening with the Mavericks, but I cannot.
Wouldn't it be fun though if they just won Game 5 and we get a Game 6 and maybe even a Game 7? That would be fun. Like, how about a little bit of freaking drama? All right. Speaking of drama, Michael Kelly coming up in just a little bit. By the way, speaking of drama, starting to see a lot of the Bryson DeChambeau stuff come out. What was going on behind the scenes? There's a clip going around of him stopping in between holes to sign a visor for a special needs kid in a wheelchair. I don't remember Tiger doing that.
No. Especially back in his prime.
And I'm not trying to pick on Tiger. Tiger was just like uber focused, never really, acknowledged the fans, for the most part and that it was part of his greatness. I'm not knocking him. But it is refreshing to see a golfer like Bryson DeChambeau to be so open with the fans. And look how the fans just absolutely went nuts. I mean, he's turning to the crowd, playing it up, making big putts, hitting bombs. Boy, we'd sure love to have you back on the PGA Tour, Bryson. Sure would be nice to see you every week instead of playing in the Carnival League.
And I think that's where he learned that is over at that other league that I refuse to say their name, because they have to be interactive with the crowds or the crowds don't come because there's nothing to watch.
Right.
You can't watch it on TV. I don't know what.
What about the cheerleaders, man? What about the dancing girls?
Do they have cheerleaders?
I think I've seen them have like dancing girls at the disco.
And you know what pissed me off? And look, dude, I like Bryson.
I'm all for dancing girls. Don't get me wrong.
I've met Bryson. I've hit golf balls with Bryson at the range here in Dallas.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I like Bryson.
Name dropper.
Yeah, well, it's what we do around here in Dallas.
Yeah.
But dude, he freaking wore his Crushers logo crap in a freaking U.S. Open.
He had to.
Like, just
contractually obligated like everybody else.
Man, it's everything he did this weekend rubbed me the freaking wrong way, and it pissed me off.
Why?
Everything he did pissed me off.
Why? What?
Because I hate that he's not on the tour.
Okay, well,
that's why.
He'll be back. They'll figure it out. But right now it sucks. But that dude has gone from douche to debonair quicker than
for sure.
Anybody I've ever seen in my life. You want to talk about a PR makeover. Whatever the hell he did or whatever class he went to. Did you hear about the salty balls?
Yes.
I was like, what the hell is he talking about? Yeah. I mean, Bryson is known for being uber technical. Like everything is measured. Everything is done by a number. He is like a walking, talking computer. So one or a two. Everything is, from his, you hear him talking about his swing. Is it 10:30? Is it 11:30? Is it 12?
Right.
Is it, for every distance he has a swing number. Same with his putting. Everything is just numeric. And so now we find out that he takes all of his golf balls from the manufacturer and puts them in a tub of Epsom salt. Because that way he can figure out if they're balanced or not.
Yeah.
And if they're not balanced, they put some type of substance on them to balance them, the Epsom salt, to balance them out and make them fly straighter.
Seems like you're doctoring golf balls to me.
Yeah, that to me, I was like, whoa, wait a minute, what? Well,
and while
I'm sure he wouldn't have talked about it publicly if he didn't know that it was allowed.
Oh, sure. I'm sure he checked on all of that. And while we're speaking about the rules, did you hear that there's a better than zero chance that the putter that he used over the weekend of the U.S. Open was illegal? Have you heard this?
No.
So there is a rule that stipulates the shaft has to lean at least 10 degrees from the head of the putter, right? Bryson's is almost completely vertical. There is no lean because of the way he, his straight arm routine that he has and his was like, there was multiple camera angles of it. There's zero lean. It is almost it's vertical to the so, but nobody caught it. He got to use it. and he won. So it is what it is. And these
We're
were
not thinking about taking it away.
no. There's no way
Okay.
they'll take it away. No.
Okay.
I'm not saying that. No. I'm saying he got away with it. And you know what? Does it matter that much?
No,
Probably not.
no.
But an illegal club is an illegal club, just like an illegal ball is an illegal ball. But again, I'm a little just pissed off about the whole weekend in general with Bryson winning it, and he plays for that other tour. Just man, it just pisses me off. That makes me, you know,
you
and the
wanted
fact that
Rory representing the PGA Tour, and it's weird because the PGA Tour is centered in America, right?
yes,
Bryson is an American,
yes,
and Rory is obviously from Northern Ireland.
Yep.
But Bryson plays for the Saudis, relatively from a money standpoint.
Yeah.
And Rory has been famously and heroically speaking for the PGA Tour until they banged him in the butt with the stupid ass thing that they've done to semi-reconcile that hasn't really reconciled. So yeah, they undercut him, and it's ridiculous. And now they're trying to pay him all off. I get it, but so now we're chanting USA, USA while he's standing over a putt, thankfully that he made after he choked the other putt.
right.
And I'm like, did that get into his head a little bit? Like,
Has to have.
I mean, that's not cool. Come
No.
on, golf fans, we're better than that. Plus, the dude lives here. I mean, what are we doing?
He's back with his wife now.
Tour. I mean,
After cheating on my girlfriend,
Amanda.
Yes.
I want to know that. Is that going to be on Full Swing? I want to know what the hell
He's
happened
back
there.
with his wife now. Yeah, he's back with his wife.
Yeah, but I want to know what's going on in Full Swing.
But you know the fact that
That
you know,
Amanda
trollop. I don't know how
I
don't know how you feel about Brandel Chambly.
I did not like him being in the booth.
See, I love him because he says everything I want to say, and he does it on TV.
I love him in his role. I don't.
Sure.
I just was weird hearing him. Like,
no,
in
I
the
agree
booth.
about that. Yeah, I agree about that.
And I do love his candor. I'm with you 100%. It's just, again, it's like you're messing up all my stuff. Like when there's big voices for big events.
But Mike Tirico went off on this little rant about how all these live golf guys I said it. There you go. I said it. All these live golf guys aren't qualified for the Olympics. And he's like, it's a shame we're not going to see Bryson in the Olympics. We're not going to see Brooks Koepka in the Olympics, and he rattled off all these, other guys that are on that tour. And Randall came right back. He goes, yeah, but you know what, Mike? They knew what they were getting into when they went over there. They chose this.
And the Live Tour has been told, if you change some of your things, the way you run your business, you have full fields, you have cuts. I don't even know if they have to do the whole thing, but have to play 4 rounds. You get pro.
Play 4 rounds,
and they said no. They said no, we're not doing. Okay, well, you made your choice. So yeah.
And their most recent star, John Rahm, who just went over there at the beginning of this year, he wasn't there 2 months and he started complaining about stuff. He's like, we got to play 4 rounds because he's now missing out on stuff that he won't be able to do because he made the choice to take the money and go over there. So again, man, don't feel bad for these guys because they chose this.
All right, we got to take a break. Coming up, Michael Kelly, USF Athletic Director, is going to join us, and we'll talk all things Bulls. What a record-setting year it has been for them and what a future they have, thanks to Michael Kelly, and has put them in a great position to be able to move on in realignment. We'll talk about all that when we come back right here on the JP Peterson Show. Stay with us. JP here for HydrateHeroes.com, the great electrolyte hydration drink that has all the good stuff, none of the bad stuff. NFL players are using this stuff. All types of athletes are using it because it's got 5 calories. None of the bad stuff, all the good stuff. All the electrolytes are in there for you. And also amla fruit, which is a terrific additive in there. The mushroom blend helps with inflammation in your body. Definitely has helped me with my knees. My knee pain has gone away almost exclusively since I started drinking Hydrate Heroes. Folks, it makes a difference. I love it. Professional athletes love it. You will love it. The new Tropical Punch flavor is out. Go to tryhydrateheroes.com and get a free 3-pack. That's tryhydrateheroes.com, a free 3-pack, and get the 30-pack while you're there for just $29.99. Try Hydrate Heroes. JP here for HydrateHeroes.com, the great electrolyte hydration drink that has all the good stuff, none of the bad stuff. NFL players are using this stuff. All types of athletes are using it because it's got 5 calories. None of the bad stuff, all the good stuff. All the electrolytes are in there for you.
and also amla fruit, which is a terrific additive in there. The mushroom blend helps with inflammation in your body. Definitely has helped me with my knees. My knee pain has gone away almost exclusively since I started drinking Hydrate Heroes. Folks, it makes a difference. I love it. Professional athletes love it. You will love it. The new Tropical Punch flavor is out. Go to tryhydrateheroes.com and get a free 3-pack. That's tryhydrateheroes.com, a free 3-pack, and get the 30-pack while you're there for just $29.99. Tryhydrateheroes.com. You'll love it. JP here for the Geddes Gordon Real Estate Group and our good friend Jane Geddes. Folks, simply put, there is nobody like Jane. Jane is a former LPGA 2-time major championship winner. She was also vice president of talent relations at WWE. She also has a law degree from Stetson. So if Jane can drain a 10-footer to win the U.S. Open and stare down Hulk Hogan in the boardroom, you want Jane on your real estate team to not only negotiate the best deal, but find you the perfect home or investment property. And when you work with the Geddes Gordon Group, you become part of the real estate family and get concierge services that include expertly staging, marketing, and preparing your home for sale. Advice on golf properties. Hey, you might even get some golf tips. Many of their clients become friends long after the sale or purchase is completed. It's all part of the deal. So if you're looking for that perfect home or investment property or trying to get top dollar for your home, go with Jane Geddes and the Geddes Gordon Group because there's nobody like Jane. Call 813-485-6808 or go to geddesgordon.kw.com. That's GEDDES Gordon.kw.com or call 813-485-6808. As the great Titus O'Neil said on this very show, Mother's Day's been kicking our ass for years. It's time to celebrate Father's Day, and where better than the Gold and Diamond Source. The Gold and Diamond Source has the largest selection of men's jewelry, from classic watches to cufflinks to rings. There's something for every dad to enjoy. Yeah, we like shiny stuff too. Their staff is happy to help and guide you through the selection process, ensuring you find a gift that he will love without all the sales pressure and intimidation. That's the great part about the Golden Diamond Source. Terrific staff. And remember, every piece does not lose its value. You can always trade up in the future. So shop the largest selection of jewelry under one roof, like shopping at 10 different jewelry stores. And right now, they're offering 5 years interest-free financing, which means you can get a $5,000 piece and only pay $83 a month. Come on, Dad's worth it. This Father's Day, give Dad a gift that he will cherish forever. The Gold and Diamond Source, because dads deserve it. 3800 Olmerton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com.
JP here for my good friends at Italiano Insurance, and they did it again. Once again, Italiano Insurance stepping up with the best customer service. I was in a bind. My old insurance company, my auto insurance, jacked up my rates, so I called Charity at Italiano Insurance, and she stayed till 9:30 at night until she got my insurance done. And guess what? She searched all these companies for me. I didn't do the work. She did. Saved me $1,000 on my annual premium. $1,000, folks. That's real money. And that's what you get at Italiano Insurance. Great customer service. And here's another note for you, by the way, with hurricane season up. 40% of people in Florida are underinsured. That means if you have something happen during a hurricane and you need replacement costs, you're going to get 40% less than you deserve. Can't let that happen. Call the folks at Italiano Insurance and get them to help you out in both those regards. It will save you money and keep you insured properly. That's 813-877-7799. Great folks in the community, been doing it for over 60 years. Italiano Insurance, 813-877-7799.
Let's go. Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by the great folks at the Jeeves Law Group. They are local, they are trusted, and they get results. And HydrateHeroes.com, 15% of all their gross sales goes to our military family charities. All right, without further ado, let's bring in the man, the myth, your USF athletic director that has just presided over the most honored and prestigious year in USF athletics. He is the great Michael Kelly. What's up, Michael? How are you?
Hey, JP, great to see you. I mean, you did an awesome job at the Tampa Sports Club thing the other day, by the way. It's always one of my favorite events, and the way you kind of bring all the different generations and people together is just awesome. So great job.
Well, I really appreciate you saying that, Michael. It is a labor of love. Most years since I'm so old and I've been around here forever, the folks that are going in, I know very well, and it's absolutely an honor in so many ways. And I really appreciate you saying that. It's like a big family get together of sports people. You see everybody. It's just awesome. I love it.
It's amazing that event every year is just amazing to see how many people around the whole country have had ties to Tampa Bay.
Yes.
It's just amazing. So great job. Great
job. We live in a great place, man. We are so blessed, and great segue here because your leadership there at USF has been amazing. Let's take a victory lap here. And what a season, starting with football and all the other Olympic sports as well. Let's run it all down and just kind of enjoy it. Don't be humble. And just talk about all the great coaches and players that you've given them great facilities to work with in the last few years. And boy, they're making the most of it.
Well, we're definitely still going to be humble because while we still had a great year, there's still more work to do. But we all know it all comes from great support and great folks. And since I was blessed to come back here a couple of years ago, as you well know, because you were here, when I was given opportunities here in Tampa Bay early in my career and getting a chance to work for someone like Paul Griffin on a Final Four, some people like Leonard Levy and others on the Super Bowls, and then obviously being Leroy's first hire when he got the AD spot here at USF. So it's been when this opportunity came back open in 2018, even though I had a chance to go to some other great opportunities with CFP and ACC and other things, but I felt called to be here because of what people like those folks had done for me and knew we came from humble beginnings, and now how do we kind of carry it forward? And when I got here, we had a lot, but there's a lot of things we had to still do to get our budgets up, a lot of facility work, as you mentioned. And when I look around and see the new football locker room we built up, the indoor improvements to every facility have basically taken our budgets from, maybe in the bottom half of even the American to the top 2 or 3 in almost every sport category. And that's allowing us to have success. But now it's got to be all about the vision toward how do we adapt to the current college sports landscape? How do we prepare and provide our our coaches and our players to be ready to seize that? And I think the momentum you've seen this year is kind of, step in that right direction, taking advantage of these great facilities, take advantage of the investment that the university and donors have made into our programs. I mean, hey, the facilities you've talked about, the way we've increased the budgets, we're one of the few. It's not even every P4 school does the Alston money that we provide our students. We've increased our nutrition, increased our strength and conditioning, everything we thought that our coaches informed me that we need to win, we're doing. And USF student athletes are wanting for nothing. We look just like a P4 school. We'll be one in time. But in the meantime, you got to be Coach Jenkins, our track coach, who we'll talk about here in a minute, is kind of like takes the wrestling stand and says, hey, you got to be the man where you stand, right? And in the meantime, we can focus on the Americans, focus on opportunities that we can have in the NCAA tournament to make a splash. And it's just been a great ride, great year, and we're all really, really motivated. We know the moment in history that we are in college sports. We know the pressure is on. We know our time is now, and we just think it is our time to have a university that makes a $6 billion impact on Tampa Bay community, to have a university that just achieved AAU status last year, which is one of the top academic and research pinnacles you can make. And then, as you said on the outset, to have the kind of success we had with so many programs this year, man, I'm excited about it. And this is a year when we had unusually years like with some of our greatest coaches with Jose and Ken that didn't even make the tournament this year. When they normally bring their sledgehammer, it becomes that much more of a great year.
Yeah, I totally forgot about that. But they're the best of the best, and they'll be back in their respective sports.
No doubt, they're affected by injuries and everything else. But look back, hey, Jolene Shepardson, volleyball, a local product. Her dad was a great coach at Hillsborough Community College. She was a gym rat. She went to Tampa Prep. She played here. We hadn't been to we hadn't won the conference championship since she was a player here. But she came back, and this year we won the division title. I bet you our eyes are on the conference title next year. So she's a great local story. You look back to we always had such great success in women's soccer. We kind of passed the mantle in the family with Denise Schulte Brown now taking over the Tampa Bay Sun pro team here, and women's soccer is so cool in and of itself. And then you've got her husband Chris Brown taking over. We won the division title last year. We've been to the tournament 7 in the last 10 years. They'll keep rolling. Both golfs went to the NCAA tournament. Great leadership there with Stephen Bradley and now new coach AJ Newell. You've got obviously with men's soccer's traditionally been extremely good. We're going to be good again there. You go to football. I mean, to turn around from 1-11 to 7-6 to beat
what a season.
Beat an ACC team like Syracuse 45-0 down in the bowl. Just great momentum behind that. The top recruiting class in all the American, certainly one of the top 50 in the country. So
great transfer portal.
Great transfer portal. His team, his recruiting engine are just bringing. There's official visits like crazy going on now. That indoor, it all plays in, JP, because it's not just what you train in and what you can recruit to. That indoor performance facility allows us to bring 300, 400, 500 prospects for camps and stuff all at a time that we didn't have. Right. Charlie and Jeff and Willie and Skip, they didn't have the ability to have that facility. So now when you bring a great coach like Golish and the staff that he's brought, combined with those facilities, man, we're taking off in football. You said it. Hey, women's basketball, we typically make the tournament. Jose is he's already a Hall of Famer in the sports.
That's right. That's right.
And then to see Amir come in and do what he did, conference championship in year 1 on a team that was predicted to finish 9th or 10th or whatever, and won by 2 games going away. And his recruiting prowess is already off to a great start as well. So, hey, the sky's the limit. We all know we all embrace this opportunity that's going on in college sports. We embrace the support we've got. But I think when I think about it, JP, and you were a big part of it and talking about a lot about it. I mean, that basketball season was really exciting.
Oh, it's incredible.
And
what an atmosphere for that FAU game, man.
Oh, man, that's awesome.
That was historic.
That's what it's like when you like you said, back when we had it, back when Charlie Bradley was
that's right.
The house down at whatever. But when you have, all of our sports are important. We want to have comprehensive excellence in everything we do. But when the football and the basketball engines are rolling, that's when the community really notices, and then complement that with what I think Mitch Hannes will do with baseball. It'll be great. And then we haven't even touched base on track yet. I mean, to have Eric Jenkins, we were the worst team in the league when I got here. Eric Jenkins comes in. We put the right amount of investment into that program. And my God, already a top 25 program in the country.
That's amazing.
12 people go to the Nationals in Eugene. He's just an incredible coach and leader. And that's what I think the secret sauce is. It starts with investing in the programs. It gives the student athletes everything we possibly can, but then it starts
leadership.
With great coaches. Yeah. And coaches that we have right now are adaptable, fully knowledgeable about the current landscape, and they build what I will call, and I've said before to you, real authentic relationships with our players.
Yes.
You can't BS any of these kids anymore. You got to tell them what you have. You got to tell them what you expect. You got to tell them how you're going to use them as in terms of your offense, your defense, whatever it is. They want to know everything. That you're preparing them for life, but you're also preparing for probably a professional career in whatever sport they choose, or at least that's what they're coming to you with. And you got to give them that vision. And so anything from NIL, how you're going to use them. And that's what our guys are doing. It may not be what you want to hear in the recruiting pitch, but it's going to be,
right.
Why waste your time? Why waste my time if it's not going to be a fit? So let's find the fit. Let's go ahead. And as Coach Golish likes to say, let's be who you say you are. You want to be a pro athlete? Cool. You're not going to get there just by saying it. You're going to have to deliver and drive that every day to do that. And the same thing, all our players will say that we can help you get there. You can get to the pros from USF. You can win titles through USF. You can do it at an AAU school, and you can do it in one of the greatest places in the world to live. So that's the pitch we're given. That's why we're getting great kids in all these sports right now, and people that are believing in this vision. Started with Paul Griffin, started with Leroy, started with Betty Castor, started with Judy Ginshaft. All these folks have kind of helped build us to this day, and now to have Will Weatherford, Rhea Law, Mike Griffin.
That's a hell of a team.
Leadership positions that are giving us this kind of support and recognition is what's so exciting about this era right now in USF sports.
And perhaps Michael Kelly joining us here, USF AD, the biggest endorsement is a guy who stayed in Byron Brown, because I know the Wolves were out. Everybody was knocking on his door, and I mean everybody. For him to stay at USF is the biggest endorsement of not only your football program, but your entire program. And I scarcely have seen a better representative of the university or a program or anything than that young man. Spend a couple moments talking about him and what a linchpin he is to this entire university's success.
Yeah, you nailed it, JP. I mean, that kid is special. I remember when he came here he came here midway through his senior year of high school. So it was one of those rare early entries. It's more common now, but at the time it was unheard of. But he actually came here in early January of whatever year that was. That would have normally been his last semester of his senior year. And I remember being in the dining hall here, and that young man came up to me, doesn't know me from Adam. I haven't even met him yet. Hey, Mr. Kelly, I'm Byron Brown. Honored to be here. Can't wait to be a part of the program. I'm like, This is like the fourth string quarterback that's still a high school senior that has the executive presence and the confidence, but not cockiness, the confidence to just come up and be a man like that. And to be, I was like, whoa. And I hadn't even seen him throw the ball yet, So then to know that, I know, Coach Scott and Coach Charlie Weiss were the ones that recruited him when he was up in North Carolina, had the first, vision of what his potential would be. And then every coach that's come since then, I was like, man, this guy is the full package. So now you see him not only being the kind of person he is, comes from a great family, but then obviously just the work ethic and again, that executive presence that's so rare today, because in an era when I think, it's been harder and harder to find player leadership, and all these coaches will preach that you have to have player-led teams. And this is, it can happen, but when you find that executive presence, to find that innate leadership, it's special, and you complement that with the kind of talent that Byram has. But again, he has a smile that lights up the room. He's kind to everybody he meets. Kind of reminds me of maybe a little bit of Leroy Selman, right? You can be a ferocious competitor on the field.
Yeah, yes.
But how are you a great person off the field and kind of light up a room when you come to? And he has that unique ability. Yeah.
It's a great comp right there. Michael Kelly joining us here. Michael, you mentioned P4, and Lord knows where this is all going. But as I've said many times, you're probably one of the top 1% most connected person in all of college athletics, which makes you the perfect man for the moment for USF. You've built the foundation now. The on-campus stadium is coming. The AAU, you are perfectly positioned. It's not me saying it, just me. It's national pundits are saying it as well. USF is on the rise. They are going to be wanted by the ACC, the Big 12. I know you have stocked your leadership there at USF with a lot of folks that are very familiar with the ACC and have worked there for a long time. Sure. And you've positioned yourself perfectly. If FSU, as we think, leaves for the Big Ten, this seems like a perfect fit. I know it's a lot of politics involved here. What can you tell us about that process and where you're at? With all due respect to the AAC, it's, it is what it is. What can you tell us?
Yeah, and you're right. I mean, we gotta do what we can to do everything to be a leader in the American right now, and we are in many sports. We want to have that comprehensive excellence to kind of bring that attention to us. So we're focused on that. More than any one particular conference, I think the biggest thing for all of us here in Tampa Bay and USF alums to focus on is just the whole D1. They call it the Division D1. President Baker kind of threw out this whole concept of what D1 will be, because right now there's 363 schools at D1 level, and there's 133 of them that play football at the current FBS level. So that's a lot, right? It's too many.
Too many.
There's some that have two. There's some that have two, a lot more than us, and there's some that have a lot less than us. Yeah. And I kind of use the phrase internally and externally in my comments that there's a fault line coming, right? And we've got to be on the correct side of the fault line, because that's what my leadership wants from me. That's what our coaches want, that's what our players want, and that's certainly what the
community wants.
The community wants. Yeah. So, and when you put it all together, it's like this is just the kind of the time we all have to recognize that, and combine together to make it happen. And you don't just get it just by politics is part of it. Winning's part of it, investment's part of it. All of it's important. There's no one magic thing, because sometimes it's a matter of timing. And the good thing is that we're putting everything into it now. We need all of us. We need you to keep trumpeting from the Tampa Bay media standpoint. The national, like you said, they're starting to hear the drum beat and see it. Our fans, our donors need to pack Ray J, pack the Yangling Center.
Yes,
will us to win, if you will. And we all know it's kind of coming together. So what I will say is this. Everything that's happened in the last 5 to 10 years that has provided more permissiveness to investing more and providing more to your student athletes in your program, USF has met that goal. You combine that with building an indoor, you combine that with building a new stadium, a new operations building, all that stuff that's coming in the next 3 years is just a really exciting convergence of so many things. So you can sit around here right now and be scared to death of the fault line, or we can all step up as a community and as a university and say, we're going to get there. We have the confidence to will that into existence. And we just have to recognize that this is your moment in time. I love history. I know you love history. It's like when you look back at whatever you want to study, 3,000 years ago, 200 years ago, wars, interesting biographies, careers, everyone has to recognize a moment in their personal life or in their professional life or in their era of time that you have to step up. I'm just here to tell you, in college athletics, this is the time for you.
This is the moment. Yes.
If we're holding back any powder keg or anything, it's like we gotta launch it now, because 5 years from now it's going to be too late. 5 years ago would have been nice. We're here. We're now. We're controlling our destiny as it stands right now, and I like it. Anytime you can make a case that you can say, look, AAU, Tampa Bay, the type of investment, the type of facilities we have. Hey, when we finish this stadium, JP, there's not going to be a better athletic district in the country.
It's going to be awesome.
And I don't just say that as hyperbole. It's just a fact. It'll be modern. It'll be adjusted and designed for the modern college student athlete, and to make it very efficient for elite athletes to train for whatever their goals might be, to reach the academic success that they need to make. And again, even the great schools that we all aspire to be that have amazing facilities, we're blessed with a little bit of youth that we've been able to control our real estate a little bit differently. That's not done. So we can create this very efficient USF athletics district that, again, I love admire and respect greatly the University of Florida per se, but even when they've built some of these great new facilities, it's been a mile, 2 miles away from the hub. I just think, hey, a USF student athlete, when you build that thing within 300 yards of where I'm talking to you right now, it's like, man, football stadium, lacrosse stadium, soccer stadium, baseball, softball, great arena, and it's all right here. And the Selman Center, how appropriate, is the heartbeat of all of that. So, like, if your heart of where you're doing your academics, your physical health, your coaches are all right here in the Selman Center for that legacy, and then you go to the football stadium, you go to the lacrosse. I mean, it's just an amazing, concise footprint that will be 5, 10, 15, 20 years down the road will be whoever's talking to you in this chair 20 years from now.
It might be you.
That was a really good era that kind of created this. But that's what we have to build. Hey, you control, we control. This is the time that we all need to step up as fans, as residents, as alums, as players, as coaches. We got to deliver. This is the time, and I think our people are up to the challenge.
Yeah, I'm ready to go. Put me in, Coach. I wish I had some eligibility left. Let's go. I'm ready.
That'll be the next thing, probably. Heck, that's what I think the next lawsuit will be. Is like, heck, why are there any limitations on 4 years? Why can I only have 4 years of eligibility?
I'm ready to run through a brick wall right now.
Let's go.
Tim, you got eligibility. Let's go.
Let's go. Let's start at the cafeteria. Let's go.
Yeah. My favorite spot.
Speaking of that, the claw, I was talking to some of your student athletes who are like, hey, they're building a whole mixed-use project there. They're going to have bars and restaurants and everything else, which is probably way better than that golf course you had. So,
well, that's what's exciting too, JP. Think about that. Just in the last couple of years on this campus, we built Judy Genshaft, beautiful new honors college, a new research building. The first person that set foot into Water Street was USF building the medical school.
That's right. Yeah,
that's been a cornerstone of that. And so now, when you think about the stadium, the indoor, what that's going to do to be a catalyst up here in the north side of the city is really, really cool. And you already see some, restaurants have kind of gone into Mosey. You see things. You see more apartments kind of building up. But yes, our oldest dormitories on campus, they're all being renovated in time for when the new stadium opens up. So that's really super cool. And then yes, whatever happens, it's all going to be really good on the what we call the Fletcher parcel, but basically the old claw is going to be amazing. So whatever the development decides, and I'm not running that project, but certainly be involved. It will enhance not just a game day for a stadium, every day for USF athletes and student athletes to think about whether it's hotels, whether it's retail, whether it's bars, whether it's restaurants, whether it's more nature trails, whatever the heck it is. It's going to be really exciting to kind of have a more walkable, more bring some of the more typical college features.
The college atmosphere. Yes. Yeah.
And when you think about that, I just love the plans that some of our people are thinking about and excited about here. And that's going to be great. In the meantime, we've still maintained the good parts of that from a golf standpoint for our golf programs. And both of them went to the NCAA, as you know. So now we have a great, already had a nice facility there, and we still got the hitting base, still got the short game thing, but we preserved the 3 holes up there. It's a par 3, a par 4, and a par 5. So now we're just like amongst the elite collegiate golf facilities that we kind of took a good real estate deal that we got to prepare for the future, but have now made that to be to make a very good golf facility to an elite one. So Steve Bradley and AJ Newell are fired up about that too. So that's, again, if you're a golfer, JP, you and Tim can come out.
Come check it out.
Golfers now, it's like, man,
sure.
I can walk. I have my own little building, locker room. I can study, and then I can do all my short game, long game. Then I can do 3 holes right outside my window, and then obviously still have a chance to go play some of the great courses that we have here in Tampa Bay all the time.
It's all so awesome what you're building there, Michael. And I'll close with this and renew your appeal to the alumni and the fans. And I've been saying this for years, folks. We got to turn out. We got to fill Ray J. We got to fill the Yuengling Center, which we did for FAU. That was incredible atmosphere. This is what college sports is all about. I know it's not on campus, but it's a hell of a stadium, the Ray J. Now you got a football team that you can be proud of, that get out there. You have no excuses. The tickets are cheap. But we got to have you, especially this year. We've got to fill the stadium. And it's like you said, don't leave anything left in the powder keg. Now is the time. If you've ever bitched about anything at USF, it's time for you to step up and get your season tickets for football and get this season going. It's a great schedule. Let's freaking go.
You nailed it, JP. I mean, hey, look, bottom line is this year for football, not only what's happening in college sports, but CFP expanded to 12 teams under the current rules. 7 of the first 10 years of CFP, the American champion would have been that representative. So, like you said, let's go.
This is
Coach Golis is down there telling them right now at the workouts, like, guys, we win the American, we got a real legit chance of getting into the CFP. So let's do it. And the same thing, like you said, with Amir. And the other thing is, when we get into that stadium, hey, we got 3 seasons left in Ray J. All right. We're going from a 65,000 seat stadium to a 35, 40,000 seat stadium. Let's realize that the only way to guarantee your place in the new place is to be a ticket holder where you're going to. Because we know right now, hey, you can roll up at Ray J on day of game. 65,000 is a lot for anyone to sell. That's just the way it goes. But hey, the only way to guarantee your spot in the new place is to have a spot in the current place. So get out there, support a team that's going to be obviously in competition for a conference title and a CFP berth, and get ready to come on to this USF stadium here in 3 seasons. So lots to look forward to.
Michael, thank you so much for your time, and thank you for all you've done. Your loyalty, it really was expressed in the beginning of this interview, and it's if you're not charged up as a Bull alumni for what you're doing, we really appreciate it, because if you don't know, folks, he could have gone a lot of other places, but he came here to do this in a legacy, and you're leaving a tremendous legacy, and you got a lot to do. So I appreciate you coming on, and we're your biggest fans, and let's go Bulls. Let's do it.
Thank you, JP.
Thank you, Michael.
Bulls. All right.
All right, Michael Kelly there. That was fantastic. And
that was pretty good.
I mean, it's about leadership, man. And USF is never, with all due respect to the guys that have come before, Michael is the most connected, the most experienced, most he has it all. And you're blessed to have him. And the fans have got to show up. You can't put 19,000 in that stadium for football this year. You can't do it. That's every game should be at least 30,000. Fill that lower bowl, make it an atmosphere where the Big Ten and the ACC and the Big 12 cannot ignore you. Cannot ignore you anymore. Step up. It's time. All right. Tim's mad at me because we went over. So
nope, I'm good.
Thank you. Great job, Timmy. Appreciate you, my friend. Thank you all for commenting. Love to hear. I'm going to put this interview out there for all USF fans. We'll get a lot of, I'm sure, a response from it, and we'll get back to it tomorrow for tomorrow's show with Peter Blake. Thank you, Timmy. Appreciate it. Have a great day, everybody. Go Bulls. No Panthers.
No Panthers.
F-U, 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 and F-U. Peace out. I'm going to go have a kiss.